You're a fraud.
You're a liberal hack.
What do you say? What do you know? I watched it this week, and I was it was off on the wrong foot by having to pay more than to see it at the cinema. So, like on Amazon, I was thinking, okay, yeah, maybe there might be $5 or $6. It was $25. Dandy sells tickets.
The newer movies.
Yeah.
New movies on Amazon, 25 to rent, 29 to buy, or even 29 to rent, 35 to buy. It's just the standard now, which it kind of annoys me. It kind of doesn't annoy me. I mean, it's like, all right, it's like you're paying for the convenience. You can have 5 people in a room, which, compared to buying 5 tickets, I do kind of like it. And I'm always thinking, like, good, at least there's a revenue stream for new movies. If it's not going to be the cinema, at least there is a way to, support the existence of movies, right? Which is good. And I've done it about 15 times maybe on Amazon over the last couple of years. And every single one of them has fucking sucked. And I've regretted spending the 20, like I should have illegally downloaded those ones specifically. I'm always doing it with the intention of supporting movies. And it's for movies that fucking suck.
Yeah, no, fair. I mean, now that you put it that way, I did watch with my brother, so that was more like $12.50 each, and I'll just charge him, and he can sort of Venmo me or something. Yeah. So that's a good idea.
So it went off on a bit. Well, I mean, I think it's going to be another episode of Nick and Ryan actually fucking hate movies.
No, I'm
not fans of the art form.
I'm going to put it to you that. No, I actually like this film, so I'm going to be coming against you with that. And
good.
I understand.
Somebody needs to.
Someone, well, enough people do. So, I guess who's in my corner? The critics. No, I was just going to say, I watch it with a real critical mind, so I can see why you didn't quite like it.
Yeah.
No, you go first. I think this is one. I'll just quickly say this. It's one of the films where I could certainly see. Yeah, that's going to be annoying for a lot of people. That's going to be annoying for a lot of people. I said this too much like last week. Like in spite of itself, it's good. I don't think it's more. I think it's more like that. There's certainly elements to it that I could see you hating, and you do. But I think there's enough there for me to enjoy. Not like oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever seen. But I enjoyed it. So yeah. Floor is yours.
Well, I can see. I can see why they would like it in a bad way, as in easily like jangling keys, easily amused. I can see why people liked it. I mean, for me, not you. Obviously, you liked it for legitimate reasons. I'm talking about other people.
It's different.
Other people, not you. Because so. Straight off the bat, to me, it feels like an unabashed rip-off of David Fincher. Everything from like the look, like the color palette, the lenses, whatever they use, the cameras. It looks just like a David Fincher film. And then thematically, it's a David Fincher film as well. It's bro thinks he's 7. Bro is not 7. This is like... a very pale imitation of a movie like Seven. Trying to do a lot of like some of the little bits, like it's got a slow pace to it. It's obviously mixing together like the police procedural with the Satanism, and maybe even a bit of like Seven is more leans into the realism, but this kind of maybe leads into the fantastical a bit more, obviously, with the possession
that's
angle
where,
of it.
Yeah. Just on that exact note, I thought... Yes, Seven for me was just a lot more grungy. It had a much duller color palette, and I didn't really get a sense of it was trying to do that. The sort of, I suppose the nearest influence to me for this film was more of an Ari Aster, which certainly he could have David Fincher influences. I could see that.
All right. Yeah.
I'm just saying in terms of...
It has a bit of A24 to it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I could I got that a little bit more from it than say specifically Seven.
Yeah, and obviously it's got a little bit of Hannibal Lecter to it as well. Silence of the Lambs. Yeah. It's like a young FBI agent and like a creepy male-ish villain. So I guess that was kind of the first thing that kind of just put me off, is that I'm feeling like this is a David Fincher movie, and I don't really love David Fincher these days. It was trying to be slow and as in like intentionally slow. And that was part of the conceit of the movie, and I guess I wasn't enjoying it.
I'll jump in. So for me, and this is maybe like a good sort of inflex point for why I really like this genre of film, and I think the most effective horrors often are religious in theme, and so obviously that overlaps quite a lot with supernatural and fantastical elements. So I mean, like, I'm certainly much more, I sit down and I'm happy to sort of like, I'm not even put up. I'm excited for Exorcist. I'm excited for everything.
I do like those,
yeah. So it's sort of already kind of it's in a winning lane for me. So I don't mind as much, and I can certainly not sit down and think it needs to be realistic. Like I think Seven couldn't get away with doing this kind of stuff because it sets its own boundaries very specifically. I don't think this film sets those same boundaries, and so I can sort of. I think really let's talk about it. The spoiler is, and we'll quickly get into there, that the dolls have a sort of
control, possession,
demonic sort of presence, and so that's fine. That's not something that I roll my eyes at. I certainly have gone to films and watched films before where it takes people out as soon as those themes are explored. For me, it's never been that kind of way. So Hereditary, and again, Ari Aster, the sort of so the payoff. And I'm not trying to say this film is as good. I'm just saying, as a sort of reference to the type of horror it goes for, that lands with me a lot easier, and the general audience for Ari Aster, but than it would for someone who's like, nah, look, I'm just not into that sort of thing, and so it becomes ridiculous for them.
Yeah, so I felt that in terms of the plot, I kind of had no issues with, the story as a whole, like having the demonic possession, and I did like the lead. I thought she had some really interesting characterization and just good acting, the way she kind of put in these little autistic tics and that kind of stuff. I thought she was great. And overall, I kind of like the concept of having realistic sort of police procedural investigation into something that ends up being surreal and supernatural. It's kind of very similar to, as you were saying, with The Exorcist and stuff. The Exorcist is very grounded. It's about like a psychoanalyst. The priest, I mean, he's a priest, but he doesn't even believe in God necessarily at the intro to the book, and he's very reticent to believe it's possession. And the mother's going to doctors and is going through all this stuff, doing ECGs, that kind of thing. So I kind of like all of that stuff. I think it's mainly the sort of execution of it that I struggle with. I found it to be visually showy.
Insisting
in
on
an annoying way to me. It insists upon itself. Exactly.
I can sense that.
And I was talking about that on Twitter a little bit. It's kind of like the one perfect shot style of filmmaking, where they're trying to, like, every shot is kind of like super symmetrical for no reason. Her overhead camera is kind of looking down.
Wes Anderson.
Every shot is almost like Wes Anderson in like a very serious, like non-whimsical way. I see. I mean, my favorite movies are from the 70s, right? Where there are beautiful shots, but there's many shots where like the cameraman bumps into the camera and there's like a wobble or whatever. Or the zoom isn't necessarily perfect. It kind of zooms in a juttering way. Like, it's not every single moment is perfect. And I think every single shot in this movie is perfect in a way that makes it feel sterile and lifeless and sort of anti-art in a way. It's like, it's too perfect. For it to like in what is like there should be more imperfections, I think, in a work like this, which is about Satan and creepy shit, and I don't know. You hear what I'm saying?
No,
with the
I'm hearing what you're saying. I think, and I saw the post, and I saw the examples you list. There are all movies that I agree that go for style over substance, and I certainly am with you to a point with this film that it prioritizes style over substance. I'll say that, but there's a choice which fits in with the theme of this film to have that kind of style that doesn't make sense in, say, what's that fucking one by Emerald? What's it called? Sorry.
Oh, Saltburn, yeah.
Saltburn.
Saltburn.
That seems to me like just like a showy, like just to be showy rather than a sort of like
for sure
fitting in with the themes of, he lives the perfect life. It's just like, no, it doesn't quite track. So yeah, no, I totally get that. I think, yeah, look, but I don't think it prioritizes over substance to the point where it doesn't have a story to tell. And I still found that there was enough there for me. I probably would say, yeah, stylistically, they certainly worked that in the budget a little more than sort of developing the storyline. And I'll even say, look, I really like the lead. Micah Munro, she was in It Follows, and she was fantastic in that too. But she was also
I don't remember.
Yeah, but she was really what made that film great was having having a lead that was able to sort of like have the action sort of follow around, and you feel sort of empathetic. I didn't really get that this time with her. I know that sort of they made a decision to make her autistic, but it translated more as she just kind of acted like a sort of 10-year-old in a 30-year-old body, if that makes sense. A
little bit.
Which is maybe autism. Well, like maybe that's what it is. But there was certain, and this is where when you say like there's references or even sort of influences from Silence of the Lambs that just are very on face value only, like to the point where right. She's talking with she's with the sort of mass serial killer. And she's a female FBI agent, and that kind of does get.
I think that's intentional, but it is just surface level.
It's surface level only. It doesn't. Silence of the Lambs goes so much further into that, and even like Hannibal, which I don't know if you like or not, but I do, goes into that further as well. Like that, it's like her relationship with her boss or superior. Who's the fella, I can't remember his name, and the other lady, like it's not developed at all, and you know what I mean, like it's not the same as sort of.
Well, that's the thing. I think the script is the script here is just kind of weak, and doesn't leave them much to do. Like even Nicolas Cage's performance, he needs a director to kind of direct him, otherwise he will just kind of do weird shit. And I felt Nicolas Cage, who I love more than most people, I thought was kind of just what's the word? I mean, one note, but like cliche, like a cliched, creepy serial killer guy. Like when he's singing "Happy Birthday," when he's going like he's just being weird and doesn't have the direction needed to kind of like hone it into an interesting performance, whether that's Nicolas Cage's fault or the director's fault. I think overall you got to blame the director, because he's the one who says do this or do that and don't do that.
Yes, I didn't mind as much. I thought he was good enough to drive home a sort of real sort of creepy fella. Like I'd almost say I wanted more screen time. There wasn't enough with him, and I think there was a whole decision to kind of not show the monster until the end, which I understand. But at the same time, I think the scenes with him in it were the best scenes. I felt, even if they felt cliched, even if they felt like borderline ridiculous, it was sort of towing that line between horror and comedy. But all the best horror do that, and it's really it's a tiptoey line. It's like Tiny Tim, right?
I think like I just fell on the wrong side of the line where it read to me as comic, comically bad. Or
Tiny Tim,
it could like be real creepy.
Crazy guy with a ukulele singing "Tiptoe Through the Tulips."
What's Tiny Tim?
You know, the singer that sings that song.
Is it from a movie?
We'll run it over this if it's free music, but it's that, you know, Tiny Tim. So it's like in all the sort of horror films, but it's like he's just a sort of casual guy with a ukulele, but it's like comedic. You know, like he looks like Weird Al Yankovic, but it just is like a very creepy kind of sound to it, and has been used in horror. So it's like that kind of lines blurred off. That's what I'm kind of getting at. And he kind of looks a bit, I wonder if Tiny Tim was actually like another influence, as in look like Tiny Tim. You should look him up. It's like a pale guy with long hair.
All right, because I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
Right, well, I mean,
when ukulele, I was thinking of Deliverance, which could be like almost comical, like having this, you know, disfigured child.
That's another one. It's
creepy.
Yeah, you describe that scene in Deliverance. It sounds comical. You watch the film in Deliverance, it's fucking freaky.
Yeah. Well, I think because I was not on board with the movie, it leaned into the comical for me. I'm not sure. I think also, obviously, you know, that contrarian streak, people really were raving about this movie. And to me, it didn't bring anything new to the horror genre. It felt almost like a greatest hits of the horror genre. You know, doing the Seven and the Silence of the Lambs, and, you know, The Exorcist, a million other, you know, sort of religious themed. It felt more like it feels like elevated horror, where they try to pretend that the horror genre isn't artistic, so they're making like the first artistic horror movie. And so all of it's kind of pretentious rather than genuine. It felt like that quotations elevated horror, because there are, you know, many great horror movies before this one, and it references all of them without bringing anything new to the table.
Yeah, I don't think it's as reference heavy as sort of, not like a sort of like I don't think this one is. Yeah, I don't know if I agree to the point where it's really just a sort of, hey, that movie's cool. I like this bit. Let's put it in there. I think it's trying to tell its own thing. Like I said, it's a surface level kind of influence. Like, you know, sort of Silence of the Lambs and this don't really match. I don't think. I don't really see Seven, but I see like just from surface level. Honestly, for me, as in like just on the surface level.
I think it's a surface level movie, though. I just don't really understand what it's getting at, and it's not entertaining enough to be like a pure genre work. Because if it was pure genre, it wouldn't be tapping into all these elements of, you know, quote unquote artistic kind of stuff. It looks like it wants to be the artistic kind of horror movie, but then it plays almost like genre, almost like a movie like The Pope's Exorcist, which chooses to have fun with it and ends up being an enjoyable time. It would be like if the Pope's Exorcist was like way more serious and thought it was a much higher quality movie than it was. That kind of the dichotomy between what it is and what it's trying to be, I think, makes this movie suffer. Whereas the movies that know what they are, they can lean into that a bit more and be enjoyable. Whereas this one is leaning in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I still don't quite go with you, because I don't think it's. So when you say elevated horror, for the sake of, you know, having that one perfect shot, looking really beautiful and everything, I don't think it's doing that for the reason you're saying it's doing that. It's more to set a tone and to sort of nail the theme and to unsettle. It's done. It's to unsettle. It's done for the audience to sort of clue into the fact that it's a horror, not to be like, Saltburn, wow, you're such a great filmmaker. Or, you know, your camera work's amazing and everything's symmetrical. It's an unsettling.
Yeah, I get you.
symmetry.
Because it is slow paced, and camera is sterile in a lot of ways. Like when the first cop gets shot, it comes out of nowhere in a big bang, but like that whole scene is kind of smooth and not foreboding in a way that is unsettling. So I do get what you like. It is going for a tone. Maybe it didn't land for me. I think just quickly I thought it was a bit, reference movie was Zodiac. Obviously with the cipher.
Yeah,
with the cipher and like the cops. So it's two David Fincher movies in one, Seven and Zodiac.
So I thought Zodiac was referenced a lot more. Seven, I don't really see as much. I just think tonally it's just such a different film. And Seven is very different to Zodiac anyway. But yes, I do see Zodiac, and Zodiac does have a lot of that kind of symmetrical sort of tone to it, but again, it's telling a much larger story. Zodiac, this is telling a very confined story. A lot of modern horrors I've found, and this is part of why I think, and I know you don't think, but I think the horror genre at the moment's going through a bit of a renaissance, and some quality movies have gone out where in the past they haven't. So, for example,
I think we had it in like in the 2010s. I think
No, I don't think so.
I think it was like, Ari Aster.
Yes, Ari Aster.
That period.
But before Ari Aster,
I'm thinking 2018.
Yeah. So that's right. I'm with you there, but not 2010. And before, when we had the Paranormal Activities, we had Still in the Stores. We were in the what was that?
Yeah, we were still doing like
The Conjuring. I mean, one of the Conjurings is good.
Yeah,
Annabelle. The Nun. That to me was still ineffective. Like that was jump scare shit horror. I mean, The Conjuring is a little bit better. I'm not trying to throw it in with the rest. It's probably the best of that bunch. But the New Age, I'm saying, is from Ari Aster's Hereditary, Midsummer, and then a lot of the newer sort of horrors. I mean, even The Visit, kind of like the sort of A24 pushes in a sort of different direction.
And I feel like all these ones we're mentioning right now all have larger themes to them, whereas I couldn't tell you what the theme of Longlegs is, apart from like Satanism being scary, which is fine. You can do a good genre movie, but I think these really great ones that we're talking about, like Midsummer, trauma, interpersonal relationships, both like friends and lovers, aging, death, madness, belonging is massive in it. Hereditary, obviously, like motherhood and family and all these other like really fun things to touch on. And Longlegs is Nicolas Cage is doing a funny voice. Satanism. That's fine, but like for me, I think
you're being harsh. I'll just quickly throw this one because I know, but I think to the point where you're sort of, you're sort of missing the key theme that this movie is throwing out, which is childhood trauma, especially, and I thought that was conveyed pretty well. So that's sort of like a traumatic episode.
But she forgot her childhood trauma, right?
Well, that's like, part of it. That's
her
part
memory
of
was
repressed. It's repressed, though. I thought that was pretty well, like pretty effective. But it's not looking to swing it. But Hereditary and Midsummer, they are much more expansive themes, but also they hit them, and they hit them very well. And of course that makes them 9 and 10 out of 10 films. So this one for me was a 7.5 out of 10. I still enjoyed it. I still thought about it after the film. I understand criticism, your point of view. I thought it was still an effective movie. I don't think it was. I could see how it comes across as very, what's it called? What's that word you said? It was, like holier than thou.
Pretentious, cliche.
Cliche and pretentious. I didn't think so though.
Okay, well, I took it down. Like I gave it like 4 to begin with, and I was like, no, fuck you, 3. 3. I just really didn't have a very good. I was bored and And I think, yeah, it was one of those cumulative movies where it started strong, where I'm like, ooh, 7, 8, and then just like, doof, doof, doof. As the movie went along, it kept losing points by like every time it could have done something cool or whatever. I just kept making the wrong decisions, and kind of I was just ready for it to be over by the end, and then thankfully it was.
Yep. It, for me, just to finish, it conjured an atmosphere of horror and creepiness, which I thought like on purpose, which was effective enough.
Yeah, it's intentional.
While still having issues with some, as you said, some of the plot points and decisions, and sort of, you know, carriages moving forward, I still was very happy with it, and, you know, enjoyed it enough. Shall we crack on to Ungentlemanly?
Yeah, we'll talk about Ungentlemanly a bit, which, again, like, if you guys tuned in to just hear incessant complaining, which I know people love just to hear men, 30-year-old men complain about shit. This movie was clearly like a gun-for-hire movie for Guy Ritchie. It was like he has an established working relationship with Amazon, I guess. He did The Covenant with them, which I thought was quite a good movie. I think he might have wrote that one as well. This one was written by like 10 guys, and clearly they just brought Guy Ritchie on at the last second to direct it, and they gave him $20 million to do it, and he put zero effort into it. It looks like it was shot on nice locations, so that's great. But it has absolutely none of Guy Ritchie. Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like he probably had fun filming it. He went to nice places. But it's got absolutely none of Guy Ritchie's touches to it, which is Guy Ritchie is a very like idiosyncratic filmmaker. He has a very specific style, which is adaptable. It's not just Snatch and Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels that it once was, but it isn't like a complete understanding of action movies and coolness generally, because also the Sherlock Holmes movies are great. And Wrath of Man, I thought, was really, really great. Gentleman was pretty good too. And these are all kind of like fast-moving, zippy action movies. This one is, just like a really, again, like it feels like here's an Inglourious Bastards ripoff, with all of the artistry and intentionality and craftsmanship of a cheap, like, made in China AirPods clone. It's to AirPods what the AirPods clone is. It's just shittier. Right, It looks the same, but it's just shittier in every way.
It's Zack Snyder presents Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
And it's really it is just of that kind of artist. Well, I mean, some people like Zack Snyder's, but it's like the I forgot his name. Is it Tom Hooper or something? No, it's not Tom Hooper. But he did you know, like where it's like the James Bond, like Colin Firth and Edgerton. What's it called?
Oh, Matthew Vaughn's fucking Kingsman.
Matthew Vaughn. It kind of feels like a Matthew Vaughn production. And I don't like him. So,
I really liked his new movie Argyle, which is widely regarded as the worst movie of like the last 5 years, but it was great.
Hey, same lead, right? Doesn't it have Henry Cavill?
Argyle has, but he's not even really the lead. He's like a fantasy. He's the fictional character that the main character writes about in her books. So.
Also, it's got Winston Churchill, and that is the worst ever impression I've seen of Winston Churchill. Like, shit. The fucking worst. Like,
it's insane how bad it is. Who was it? Rory Kinnear. Rory Kinnear, who was in Men, another dog shit movie. Not a bad actor, I guess, generally, but I don't know what the fuck he was doing with Winston Churchill here. Like, I get, like, not doing an impression every time you do, like, a real person character, but it's, like, the weirdest performance I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I think I could do a better job. Like, I think if I walked in, got the makeup put on, they're like, do Winston Churchill, I'd be like, oh, London is burning.
Yeah, 100%. It would be better. Already better. Already way better. And he does the whole... the shit film trope of saying the film's title. I guess you guys are the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It's sort of like, but that's
it's a really bad script.
It's like a must-have line in every shit film ever. Like, it's just got the entire title.
I don't know why they keep doing it.
It's just
okay. All right. More things that I didn't like. Henry Cavill sucks. He really has no charm. People asking for a Henry Cavill James Bond are fucking out of their minds. Like that. He just gives off bad vibes. Like, who wants a James Bond that just makes every woman uncomfortable? That's how I feel about Henry Cavill. Like, even though he's handsome and everything, like, I get that, but he gives off like a former like nerdy incel who got buff and is still like mad at women. I don't know why I get that vibe from Henry Cavill. Don't sue me. But that's the vibe I get from him, and that's the vibe he would give to James Bond, and kind of the vibe of this movie. The only one I really did like was Jack Reacher. He was really good. Alan Richardson. He plays like a enormous Swedish homosexual who murders, and he is pretty funny in this. He's got a lot of charm. I've not seen Jack Reacher. I've not really seen Alan Richardson in anything, so I was surprised. But he was the highlight of the movie for me.
Yeah, no, I didn't find him, annoying or anything like that. That's probably the best thing I can say. So I mean, he was cool. Everything about this film just is just shitty. It was of a video game quality in terms of, no gore. Like, it's just like everything was silence, a shot in the head. There's bow and arrows.
It's
going
like
on.
1,000 people were killed, but there was. It's like 1,000 people were killed, but then there was no death in the movie.
But
it's
had
like a
fun
video game, like you said.
It's like if World War II, everyone had fun in World War II. That's like, there's just nothing at stake.
Yeah.
And it's World War II. We know that everything's at stake. The fate of the world's at stake, but we never felt it in this film. We felt like this is just a fucking idiot. And they said at the end, oh, by the way, this was a true story and all this really happened. Or it's based on a true story. And these are heroes. And it's like, well, you fucking done them no justice, have you?
I hate these really great memorial for them. Yeah,
fucking idiot.
And yeah, you're right. There's no stakes in the movie. Like, it's just like scene after scene, like second after second. It's just these invincible fucking superhero guys, I guess, just headshotting Nazis over, and not in like fun, inventive ways, not in like satisfying ways, just killing waves and waves and waves and waves and waves and waves of people, and they're never injured, they're never hurt. So it's one of the most boring movies I've ever seen, considering it has like 1,000 on-screen kills. Yeah,
the second worst nod to World War II that I've ever seen was when this guy from YouTube compiled a video of all these trains from Thomas the Tank Engine crashing into brick walls and stations and passengers' houses and stuff like that, and falling off the rails, and then said, in memorial for all our troops that fell in World War II. And then this is probably the worst. It was just sort of that level. It is just
it's like the exact same level of respect for for World War II, I guess.
It had less respect than that.
That's kind of what Guy Ritchie's doing here. He's crashing toy trains into fucking walls.
Train set.
And then he says, respect the troops.
Henry Cavill's train set. Like a little model train,
whatever. Look, it's so audiences gave it an A-. They're like, it's not got, and critics even were like, it may not be the thinking man's movie, but it's bloody high on action thrills and stuff. It's fucking lies. It's a shallow, cynical, like ugly cash grab from Amazon to just like, it's certainly like an algorithm movie where they're like, people watch Inglourious Bastards on Netflix all the time. The internet, Henry Cavill has 14 million followers on Instagram, probably like 100 million, I don't know. They're just like boom, 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 add in all these like different parameters. And then they're like, Amazon's like, okay, $60 million, go make this movie. If we spend that much money, it'll earn this much subscribers, and boom, boom, boom. It's an algorithm movie. The Mission Impossible entity decided this movie needs to be made, and so it was made. And nobody, no human involved had an opinion on it, or was part of the decision making at all. The algorithm spat it out, and then it's like, we got to do it because
AI maybe,
but like modern studio. It doesn't feel like AI. It just feels like, I mean, algorithm AI, same thing, whatever. It feels like a hack job by like humans rather than like an AI kind of like psychotically shoving together a movie. It feels like a hack job by humans who were told to make it by an AI. It's a subtle distinction, but
it was a box office bomb. One of the actors.
It was an Amazon Prime movie, wasn't it?
I can't.
Was it not Amazon?
It was a bomb anyway. There were bombs in the film, mate.
Oh no! Nationally, in the US, it was Lionsgate, and internationally, it was Amazon Prime.
The US audiences all loved it. Didn't go see Furiosa or whatever. Hey, look, so Till Schweiger, he was in Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah, good.
They stole him to be in this film.
Yeah,
reversed his
and
role.
literally like algorithm. Like we get one guy.
Yeah, he was. They were like, I liked him in Inglourious Basterds. He's got like, hundreds of German films, and they probably saw him from that Inglourious Basterds. Like, yeah, I like this guy. Let's bring him in.
Literally, we're making Inglourious Basterds. Like back in the day, it would have also come out in 2008, straight to DVD. And they would try and trick you with the trailers and the cover.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it would have come out at the same time. Yeah, because every like Mike
just
Myers
came out
in Inglourious Basterds. This time it was Kerry Yules, so it's like like a different.
Yeah, it's like a movie that's just Mike Myers, like Mike Myers in Inglourious Basterds level, but for everyone else in the movie and every part of the movie. Yeah, they. I think the movie's got them wrong. Like Inglourious Basterds got Mike Myers and Kerry Yules got put into this one. I think that the agents got a mix. Yeah, they would have. Yeah.
The dog shit film. Like, I've got no qualms giving this a low 1 out of 10. I really just think it's that.
I don't even know what I gave it.
It was a 1 for me, and I insult anyone who gives it a 5 or over.
What is it called again?
I challenge anyone who gives it a 5 or over to come and defend your opinion.
I'll see if quickly, because I'm looking it up. I'll see if any of my mutual. I gave it 1 star, and the highest I see from my friends is 2.5. So
so barely there.
5 is the max, and that's a person who's always very generous with their. You gave it half a star. Great.
Yeah, I did. Well, good. I did. So 1 out. That's 1 out of 10. Yeah. Half
1 out of 10. Jerry Bruckheimer, you've lost it. Based on. Oh, well. All right. Well, that'll probably do. There's not much really to say about it. It's like just an unconvincing schlock. Like, don't watch it.
Don't watch it. Don't go do it. Don't do it ironically. Don't like listen to us and be like, hey, it can't be that bad. And
they even had another Inglourious Basterds bit where, where Michael Fassbender. No. Yeah. But no, they had the Michael Fassbender when he like did the wrong symbol for 3 drinks.
Yeah.
And they caught him. They had a bit where she's singing a song and she sings a word that you would never sing in German, and they
Yiddish,
catch her out in the same way. It's like the exact same scene. Fuck, this movie annoyed me.
Yeah. Even had the two, and on the train as well, they had the 2 sort of groups with the German commander at the back who said, might I inquire? Except he said something slightly different this time. It was just like, can I interrupt? Is this? Yeah. It was used as sheet music for the actual scene. We're just like, just do this one, but we'll just do a little bit different, so it looks a bit, fresh. Anyway, it's shit. Dog shit.
Anyway, don't watch it. Cool. All right. That'll do us.
2 for 1 ep.
Double feature. Like, share, subscribe. I don't know what's next. Maybe Adam Sandler, maybe Tarantino, maybe Francis Ford Coppola.
maybe try liking a film for once. That'll be good.
Yeah, I want to see Blink twice, but I think I'll not like it. So.
Oh yeah, with
don't know.
Is that with what's his name?
Channing Tatum.
What's that one? There's another one similar sort of title. It's got the Scottish dude. I can't remember names right now. I'm too just
don't breathe.
Wide. Yeah, not don't breathe. It's on from Split. James
McAvoy. Oh, Speak No Evil or something.
Speak No Evil. That's the one. Yeah, that's the other one I've seen lots of trailers for.
Blink twice. Speak No Evil. Yeah, I can see. Yeah. That's a remake actually of a different language film, I think.
Oh, they're always good.
Okay. Maybe we'll do a double feature on that. Yeah. Well, sometimes they're good. Like let the right one in, and it's that one. It's that one, but whatever.
Usually it's not. Yeah,
and people did like go with the Dragon Tattoo one, which I haven't seen, but it's Fincher, so depends if you like Fincher. It was okay.
Yeah. It was sort of, like that's the thing, because you don't hear much about it. You don't hear much about it both ways. Like it's not that bad. It's not that good. So it's right in the middle. Yeah,
apart from fucking Twitter, who always do this with just the most random movies. They're like, has it been long enough now that we could admit that David Fincher's Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was basically the best movie of 2008 and is a masterpiece? But no, it's not that we weren't admitting it. It's just nobody's thought that before, apart from you. And I don't know why you're thinking it. They do it with every movie. Not every movie I do it too. I'm like, M. Night Shyamalan's Lady in the Water, which has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, is actually a 9 out of 10. Fuck you guys.
Well, sort them out, because you're amassing more followers, and you'll be able to, dictate discussion.
I'm making discourse every day.
Love it.
I don't know. I called out journalists the other day. Who next will face my ire? I'm going to go mad with power.
Journalists from King specifically. I was just like, why that's cool. Why did I get big ones?
Like richness. I just take traits that you
with have. RMs as well. I was just like, I had to hide my RMs and say
RMs ridiculous. Rich guys are always called fucking Nick Weebeck.
Good.
All right. Thanks, Nico.
All right. See ya.